Having a chat to Keith about racing yesterday, particularly at Eagle Farm, where the news wasn't all that good for a leading Victorian jockey.
No, Bruce. The jockey was Stephen King. He rode restitution and he was suspended until the 7th of July. We thought the stewards in Victoria were getting tough. Wayne Wilson, were they tough on Stephen King? And the morning news, is he going to appeal?
Yes, he is going to appeal. He was suspended for causing interference, alleged interference on the turn into the straight on restitution in the Tattersalls Cup. He has been suspended until July the 7th, but he's going to defend the charge, Keith, and he will be appealing against the careless riding charge.
Good morning, by the way, Keith, and good morning, Wayne. Wayne, tell us about the Tats Cup. It looked to be a brilliant win by Umpala, who came from a fair way back.
I think full congratulations must go to the trainer, John Wallace. He's done a mighty job. 3 runs back, this horse was racing at Gatton, and here he is, winning a group race at Eagle Farm. He is a stayer of the future. There he is in the red colours with a gold cap, 4 back along the inside as they run towards the home turn. And we had the cutaway rail in operation at Eagle Farm yesterday. You'll see them spread once they hit the cutaway. And Umpata, still about 5 lengths off the leader, puts plenty into his finishing burst. That's restitution with the bandages on the outside. I thought at this stage he was a chance of winning the race. I thought the run was very good. Umpata in front, that's a presser with the bookies cheering, well clear. But Umpata is cutting him down quickly the last little bit. Restitution up to 3rd, but Umpata, pretty promising stayer, Bruce, and he'll now head towards Sydney in the spring, with his prime target being the Metropolitan at Ranwick.
And Umpala being the first Queenslander to win that race for 10 years. Incidentally, Wayne and Bruce, Steve King was 6 behind Damien Oliver in the Jockeys Premiership here. If he hadn't blown it, then the suspension has blown it for him.
Yes, and Oliver did ride 1 again yesterday, didn't he? So he's got such a good strike rate. Restitution, a fair run. You've seen a bit of him in Melbourne, and he's run up to his best form there yesterday.
That was a good run. He's a star of the future for sure.
I like Sublimate's performances during the winter, Wayne. He ran very, very well in the Stradbroke. He wasn't far away, and it wasn't surprising to see him win yesterday. Had a beautiful run, didn't he? He didn't go boom with acceleration, but he wound up when he got clear.
Yeah, I don't think he could sprint that quickly, Bruce, because they were going very fast time, but York gave him a beautiful run on the rails just behind the pace, and he got into the clear to come up to Space Moon and Al Akbar in the home straight. Al Akbar was looming as a danger in the straight, but the early effort after racing wide and missing the kick told. Now that's Sublimate over on the inside behind Space Moon. Al Akbar is looming up, but he weakens in the last 100 metres, and Sublimate, he's good in his game, and he cut down Space Moon and then held late challenges by Burst and Ballysnap. They're finishing quickly on the outside, but Sublimate thoroughly deserved the win. It was a great run at the Stradbroke, just found the 1400 metres too far.
1.92, Wayne, that's only a 1/5 of a second outside Tony Finito's course record. York and McLaughlin, they're a very good combination. I wonder whether York is now regretting his decision to go to Hong Kong next season.
Well, Keith, they tell me the money they earn in Hong Kong, I don't think anyone would be regretting a decision to go to Hong Kong, but it's a long association that they've had, a very successful one, and I guess it tore at his heartstrings to make the decision to go to Hong Kong, but the mighty dollar, it speaks many languages, doesn't it?
It sure does. Speaking of the mighty dollar, did you back see Winnie yesterday? You were desperate to find out from Wayne what happened to her and why she didn't win.
No, the only reason I was desperate, Bruce, if that's the term, was that last week in this very chair a week ago we were talking about jockeys naming her the best mare in Australia. So I wanted to ask Wayne why the best mare in Australia started favourite and finished down the track yesterday.
Well, Keith, she missed the kick, and I think that told the tale of C. Winnie's performance in the Winter Stakes. She had 59 kilos on her back, and when you miss the kick in a race like that with 59, it makes it difficult. Brian also said that whilst he was able to ride her hands and heels in the straight, he didn't really get the opportunity to test her under the whip. And there she is back 3rd last with the white blinkers on as they straighten up, and an impossible task ahead of her. Miss Sandman is in front, and by the way, Mahanui Lass was very disappointing in this race. Connections are of the opinion that she's jarring up on the hard tracks here. Look at Zetoile switching back to the inside. Bill Mitchell has done a good job with Zetoile, and he feels 1,600 metres is her prime distance, and she was too good. And congratulations too to Danny Craven. He's a young rider with plenty of talent, and that was his first black type race victory yesterday.
Well, surprisingly, Wayne, I thought the highlight of the meeting came in the final event of the program. Not one of the feature races, but a tremendous finish by Baggio, and thoroughbreds, you love them, don't you? And the way this horse tried and chased in the straight, the greyback about 3rd last now. He's a favourite with Queenslanders, and this was one of his best performances.
Bruce, they love him up here, and he had a big weight on his back yesterday and had to break 35 for his last 600 metres. So it's a mighty performance by Baggio. We all declared him a good thing beaten in the Stradbroke. Well, he atoned by winning this race. Now, that's El Bandito out in front, but look at Baggio really stretch and cover the ground under York's urgings in the last 100 metres of the race. The big roar was horse coming up from the crowd at this stage as the two greys were fighting it out, and it was Baggio who poked his nose in front right on the line and got the decision from El Bandito, and he'll now head for the Ipswich Cup over a middle distance next week. He has won over a middle distance in the past, but I've always felt that 1,600 metres is his distance.
A lot of people wouldn't realise this, but as an ex-race caller, a has-been, so to speak, you do get a real thrill when a good horse wins, and is it the same for you?
It certainly is, Bruce, particularly when you see a horse who's genuine in his races, his or her races, when they try as hard as they do. And a horse that's really hit my heart in recent years is Tiny Sfinito, because he's just got that never-say-die attitude about him, Tiny Sfinito. You know he's there to give 100% every time. Yes, you do get a bit involved, don't you?
You sure do. In Baggio's case and Buck's Pride, being a grey doesn't hurt, does it, Keith?
Well, being a punter doesn't hurt either. If you've got something on the horse storming home to win by a short half head, the adrenaline flows, Bruce.
Listen, just before we go to the Valley yesterday, with Vintage Crop, I've been thinking about this a lot during the week. I thought his run last start was fantastic in the Gold Cup. When you think about Melbourne Cup winners that haven't ever won a race afterwards, and for this horse to have come to Australia, then gone back to Ireland and win by 6 lengths, I thought he ran a great race in the Gold Cup, and everyone seems to be down on him.
Oh, no, I agree. I'm with you all the way there. He's a very good horse. He's the best stayer in Europe. Don't forget the name of his stablemate, though, the horse that Dermot Welder's also bringing out this year, Fame and Fortune. He's pretty good.
Do you expect we'll get these horses again this year for the Melbourne Cup?
I've no doubt. I think we'll get better ones as well, maybe even something that has contested the Arc.
You got some inside information?
Yes.
You going to tell us?
No.
Oh, thanks a lot. Did you know anything that happened at the Valley yesterday?
Oh, yes.
Gold Fever won the steeple. He's obviously going to be very hard to beat in the Grand National steeple.
Right, he'll go into that race at only his second steeple start. He was trained, or is trained, by Jim Houlihan. Only a week ago, Jim Houlihan and his jockey, Michael Patton, split up. Well, yesterday in the Moonee Valley Hurdle, Michael Patton got his revenge. He won the Moonee Valley Hurdle, he won it on Galatoire, and he beat the top weight Tennessee Blue, trained by his former boss, Jim Houlihan.
Are these the horses we should be looking at? Is Galatoire going up to Tennessee Blue? Are these the horses we should, a normal John just behind them, we should be looking at for the Grand National?
Well, I like the way that Galatoire finished this race off, Bruce, and he does give Michael Patton the chance to win back-to-back Grand National hurdles at Flemington next week. It's over 4,800 metres. He won last year on Fun Verdict, but he goes to the line strongly, and he seemed to me to have the wood on anything that finished behind him, perhaps with the exception of Temporize, but surely Temporize would be a distance doubt over in the Grand National.
What about Tennessee Blue? Because he'd had a setback after his win last start in the Australian hurdle. Probably better for the run. He's had 8 starts over the hurdles for 5 wins in 3 seconds. It's a very good record.
Yes, he's very good, and he conceded a lot of weight to all his opponents yesterday, and he went down fighting, a good run, and he's competitive in any race.
Wayne, any interest at all from the punters in Brisbane for hurdle racing and steeplechase racing? Do they get their money out and have a bet on them?
Well, I think they followed them to some degree up here, Bruce. We tried them here a few years ago. I think we had 2 at Eagle Farm, and they drew the crowds to Eagle Farm, but for one reason or another they decided not to proceed with them. I think there was government intervention there, and they decided not to go ahead, but they were very successful, the 2 that we staged up here.
They've tried them in... well, they had that race at Rose Hill every year, don't they, for them?
Yes, indeed, yeah. We've sort of got them here, and they're popular in South Australia, and they race them in Tasmania also, Bruce, but it won't spread. Incidentally, back to the Melbourne Cup, if we may switch subjects quickly. The entries are out on the 1st of the month, which is only about 3 or 4 days away, isn't it? And that's later than ever this year.
And the weights are going to be later. I think it's a good idea,
Weights on September 1st. It's a very good idea.
Yeah. And Wayne, Ipswich next week, really the conclusion of the Winter Carnival. You've mentioned Baggio. Will the field hold up pretty well?
I think it will, Bruce. I think there's plenty of quality to go around in the Ipswich Cup. Of course, we've got a big bonus up here with the Grafton Cup, the Caloundra Cup and the Ipswich Cup, so trainers are chasing those big races. Baggio will head the weights, and a lot will depend on what weight he gets in the Ipswich Cup, but he'll put plenty of class into the race. And of course, the Eyeliner Stakes is traditionally a great sprint race at Ipswich, and it's traditionally a great day at Ipswich with a wonderful atmosphere up there, something akin to a country race meeting, but it's really big time at Ipswich on Ipswich Cup Day.
Looking forward to that. We'll catch you next week. Keith, you enjoy yourself this week.
Thank you, Bruce, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Look forward to that. A story about Tommy Moe coming up after this, the surprising gold medalist from the Winter Olympics.